Hey everyone, and welcome! Today, I'll be teaching you guys how to master Sword to his absolute fullest potential. So if you're interested in learning what his moveset is, how to do combos with him, and how to just use him overall, stay tuned because we will be going over all of those and more. Let's get into it. Alright, to start things off, we're going to be going over his passive. So since Sword got a rework, obviously he got a rework, that's why you're watching this hopefully, but his passive is actually a lot different now compared to before, by like a long shot. I'm gonna tell you, completely different passive. So in case you didn't know, his old passive used to provide 5 shield per M1. However, his new passive is actually a meter that you have to continually charge in order to cast special variants of moves, which we will be going over that in a bit, but that's for later. Alright, so in order to gain charge on your passive, you either deal damage or you take damage. Now, I do want to say this, when you're dealing damage, I would highly advise you not to spam your moves, and I'll tell you why. Just take a look at this. Just genuinely take a look at this. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, come on. What is that charge, man? That's like nothing. And now let's compare it to M1ing. Yeah, it's a clear difference, isn't it? Very, very obvious. Now, just like I said, you can also take damage to get your passive up. But anyway, let's stop stalling here and let's actually talk about something more interesting. So the new Sword rework has drastically changed the way you're actually supposed to play Sword and use his moveset. The most notable thing that has happened to Sword is his new charged moves. So with that being said, let me demonstrate how you're supposed to use them. So the right click is basically still the same as Sword before the rework. However, when you charge the right click, it has more AoE and it returns to you. Also, this move does have pretty good range to it, so if you want to snipe someone, for example, like if you're low, you could definitely do that. But yeah, overall, pretty good move. Now surprisingly, Sword's Q ability remains unchanged. So basically, you can make you and your opponent go into the air without it being charged. Now when you charge your Q ability, it actually makes it so you don't only bring your opponent into the air, but you also bring them into the middle of the move, which will then allow you to do more damage through M1s, or if you want to put a right click into that, you can do a lot with it. It's really up to you. Now unfortunately, the E move, when it's not charged, it no longer will stun them. But hey, at least the charged E move still allows you to stun them. Alright, lastly we have Sword's ultimate. Now unfortunately, Sword's ult cannot be charged. But let's be real, if you could charge his ult, you would just be doing a nuke. You would just be destroying the whole map. And I think that would be way too OP. Let's be real, that would just be way too overpowered. However, there is one cool thing you can do with the ult, and that is that it gives you your meter back, which is pretty cool actually. Also, I did find this really cool technique, which I'm not sure if a lot of people know about this, but it basically works by you delaying your E ability so that you can control the distance of it. So let me show you what I mean. Alright, now let's talk about something pretty interesting. We're going to be talking about Sword's combos, so let's get into it. Alright, the first one is going to be E into Q. You can still do this one, but it is a little bit different now since the E move does not stun. But yeah, this is a pretty simple combo that you can do. It's really good in like crowds of people, so very viable on Conqueror, I will say that. But yeah, this combo is really good for poke damage, so if you want to damage another tank without getting hit, this is a great way to do so. Another unique combo you could try is E into right click. It's not like amazing, but you could also follow it up with some M1s after. It's really up to you. But yeah, a cool little combo, I guess. Alright, now for some charged variants, we got uncharged E into charged Q. And this works really well. I would mostly use this in like crowds of people, so keep that in mind, but hey, it's a really powerful combo. Now, if you still miss doing Sword's old combo, you can still do it actually, but you have to get your E ability charged, so it would look something like this. Yeah, there's a lot to that combo. But yeah, just be careful about the windup on the charge E, because that thing is just horribly long, so yeah, be careful about that. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the playstyles of sword. So you can really use them however the heck you want to, it does not really matter. However, I would say there's two main playstyles that you should most likely be using. Alright, so the first playstyle is the flanking playstyle. To use this playstyle, you either go on the left or the right side of the map, and you usually want to be finding a support, especially when they don't have any help from their team. So that's it, that's the playstyle. And the second playstyle I'll be discussing is mostly going to be used for Conquer. So I don't really have a name for the playstyle, I guess we can call it the tank playstyle. But basically, you just stay on the point, that's all it is. You protect the point, you play like a tank, that's it. You don't do anything else. You just stay there, you kill whoever goes on it. And yes, you don't have to only stay on the point, but it's like, at least around the point, you know what I mean? So yeah, those are the two playstyles that I would mostly use with sword, or you can use whatever playstyle you want, but that's what I would personally recommend. Alright, so very briefly, I do want to talk about what game modes Sword is actually good on. I guess we can first talk about how good he is on Conquer. So Sword overall is pretty good on Conquer simply because of his tankiness. He also has a lot of mobility in case he does get low or something like that, so he has a lot of versatility, which is what makes him actually good on Conquer. I mean, he's so tanky to the point where I call him like a mini tank. I mean, that is quite impressive, I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, overall he's very viable for Conquer, but for Annihilate, he's also really good. He's so tanky, yet he has so much mobility, which is what makes him such a threat. Alright guys, I want to briefly talk about what maps Sword actually is good on and what maps he's alright on. However, I won't be taking up all of your guys' time, so here's a screenshot of where I personally would rank Sword on all of these maps. So S tier being, he's really good on these maps and you really shouldn't be struggling all that much. A tier being, it's pretty much good, it's above average, and it's definitely usable. Anything in B tier is basically like, it's alright, it's average, it's usable, but it's not like the best, if you get what I mean. Alright guys, I will be now ranking the matchups of Sword. So if you don't know what I mean by that, I basically mean how good is Sword against all the characters that are in Phighting. So for example, Sword versus Sword, that's a 50-50 matchup. I mean, that one's pretty self-explanatory, right? That one basically just depends on your skill. Alright, so Skateboard, immediately, not a good matchup. A horrible matchup, actually. We're putting this in Yikes. We're not putting it in Run, but we're putting it in Yikes. Because this is like, yeah, it's not the best, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not looking too good for Sword on this one. With all that mobility Skateboard has, Sword does not really stand a chance. Yeah, this is not the best matchup at all, so we're just gonna move on from that, alright? Biographed, 50-50. In a one-on-one setting, it's a little interesting, I guess. It's a little unique, but I would give this a slight favor to Sword just because Sword is more tanky, but a good Biographed could possibly kill a good Sword. That is a pretty close matchup. And yes, if you couldn't tell already, I kind of forgot to say, but yeah, this is like based off 1v1s, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that's obvious. I don't even think I need to clarify that, so yeah, my bad. Alright, next up we got Katana. Katana is another 50-50. This is a close one, because Katana is tanky, but Sword has like, he can do like a lot of poke damage without getting hit. So, 50-50. Really, that's a close match, I'm gonna be honest. Rocket. See, the thing about Rocket is like, he's gotta go to Yikes, bro. That is a bad matchup, because what the hell is Sword gonna do once Rocket presses Q? A good Rocket is not getting caught, I'm telling you. And yeah, this is equal levels of skill, assuming they both know how to use their kit to like the fullest potential, so that Sword is pretty much dead, yeah. Yeah. That's about it. Just putting him in Run. Yep, nothing really needs to be said. If you really want me to explain it, it's as simple as Sword can't hit him. Sword cannot hit a slingshot. Slingshot, he's just gonna stay in the air. Sword's not hitting him. Kind of depressing, honestly. Hyper, light work. I'm not even gonna go over that. That's just light work for Sword. Shuri? Shuri's probably a not horrible. Sword can comfortably take a Shuri. The only time Shuri's a problem is at long range, and right now Shuri got nerfed so hard, it's like, yeah, it's not looking too good for him. Ah, yes, Boombox. This is going to be a 50-50 again. This is, it's an interesting matchup, a very interesting matchup. These are literally all just in order of light work, so yeah, every support is easy, pretty much. And I don't know why this man is here. Don't worry about this guy, alright? We're just gonna ignore that. Ooh, Banhammer. I'm gonna put this in 50-50. This is, another close matchup for Sword. Yeah, it really could go either way, I'm gonna be honest. As long as Sword does like poke damage, which hopefully I'm showing you on screen, Banhammer should not really be able to do much against the Sword. Ooh, Scythe. This is another interesting matchup. This is probably the most interesting one on the list, actually. It's probably 50-50 though, I'm gonna be real. A good Scythe player could probably kill a good Sword player, but it could also go either way, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, 50-50. Again, this one's really close, so... yeah, there's the list for you. Hopefully I didn't take too long. Yeah, there it is.